The Knicks have made a major roster decision. After Precious Achiuwa returned, I knew that somebody on the team was going to lose minutes. But what was completely unexpected was for a player to be removed from the rotation entirely. Unfortunately, that's exactly what happened to Jericho Sims. We're going to break down all of those latest reports today. But before we get started, guys, about 55% of you watching this video right now are not subscribed to the channel. We are on a mission to try to reach 25,000 subscribers, and we could really use your support. If you enjoy daily Knicks content like this, please consider hitting that subscribe button because it could really support all the great content that we're creating for you. And now, let's get started. The Knicks make a roster decision and remove Jericho Sims from the rotation. Personally speaking, I wanted Tom Thibodeau to expand the rotation and play more of our depth. But unfortunately, he seems to be married to a 7 to 8 man rotation. And after Precious Achiuwa came back, he gave us that level of defense and that level of impact. And clearly, Tom Thibodeau trusts him enough to play him significant minutes. With all of that in mind, Tom Thibodeau made the decision to remove Jericho Sims from the rotation. That night against the Toronto Raptors, Achiuwa was the only big off the bench, and Jericho Sims saw no time at all. Let's break down these latest reports that we have from NBA insider Steph Bondy on the Jericho Sims situation. Shout out to Steph Bondy with the New York Post for giving us the following information. According to him, Monday was the first game the Knicks had a full roster minus Mitchell Robinson, who is out until at least January while recovering from a second ankle surgery. Jericho Sims went from starter to DNP. The center, who struggled mightily in the previous 2 games, was yanked entirely from the rotation in Monday's win against the Toronto Raptors, 113 to 108. Instead, Coach Tom Thibodeau stuck with Precious Achiuwa as the lone front court reserve in an 8-man rotation. That's right, he did not expand the rotation any further than that. He could have, he just chose not to. Bondy continues here by stating, Sims has been a defensive force in the paint for parts of this season and was elevated to the starting lineup Saturday against the Pistons because Karl Anthony Towns was injured. But Sims was also pulled very early the previous 2 games, combining for just 10 minutes while appearing lost on offense. Then Thibodeau made the decision to keep Sims on the bench. Achiuwa finished with 7 points in 16 minutes while alternating between center and power forward. According to Tom Thibodeau regarding Precious Achiuwa and his impact, some good and some rust. Each game a little bit better, so just got to keep working at it. First, let me say this. I do not blame Tom Thibodeau at all from benching Jericho Sims. In the last few games, he has looked lost on offense, but also on defense as well, too. We got to remember, he was the starting center in that game against the Detroit Pistons. In that first quarter, Detroit scored 39 points on us. And I'm not saying it was only because of Jericho Sims, but he didn't really do anything to help us inside the paint. The Pistons were doing anything they wanted to do inside, especially Cade Cunningham, especially Jalen Duren. We have to point that out. So Sims being yanked, I wasn't surprised by that. But being benched for the entire game, being removed from the entire rotation, that was something I did not expect at all. And honestly, that's not what I wanted to see. I wanted to see Jericho Sims and Precious Achiuwa take the floor together for one main reason. It gives us a glimpse in the future for when we get Mitchell Robinson back so we can see Robinson and Precious Achiuwa or Robinson and Karl Anthony Towns. Because honestly, that's the Knicks' end goal. That's ultimately what they want to see. And Jericho Sims, even if he was still part of the rotation now, once Robinson returned, he wouldn't be part of the rotation anymore. But still, I think it would help the Knicks to still have Jericho Sims as part of the rotation. Because if they do that, they can still practice on having a double big lineup for the bench as well, too. And I think that only helps them. But it seems like as of right now, Tom Thibodeau has made the decision to not play Jericho Sims and to only have Precious Achiuwa be the lone backup big for Karl Anthony Towns. That is an 8-man rotation. It brings me back to the same issue I had before, the minutes management. Tom Thibodeau continues to play his starters 35, 36, 37 minutes. Now, some games, when the game is close and it's on the line and we're trying to win, I'm normally not going to be the minutes police. I'm not going to talk about the minutes like that. However, when we're winning in blowout fashion and we're still keeping our starters out there and they've played 41, 42 minutes. The other game, the Knicks dominated the Hornets and Mikal Bridges was playing 42 to 43 minutes. You can't have that happen. We cannot continue to play our starters that many minutes. Freak accidents happen. We all know that. It happens sometimes when you're playing your regular minutes. So why would you run the risk? Why would you put that out there for your team and for your players to potentially get injured? Tom Thibodeau needs to trust his bench and expand the rotation. If we expand the rotation to 9 players, that means our starters get more rest, our bench gets to develop, and they also understand how it feels like to play more minutes. And if Tom Thibodeau actually trusts his bench, we won't have anything to worry about. And honestly, when you look at the players on our bench, Deuce McBride, Cam Payne, Precious Achiuwa, and normally right now, he's playing 2 starters with the bench. When Mitchell Robinson comes back, it'll be Robinson and 1 starter with the bench. And I'm hoping that starter is Mikal Bridges because I think he would thrive with that unit. But let's go back to actually what's going to happen with the center position at this point. I think it's very, very clear. Since Tom Thibodeau, at least according to Steph Bondy of the New York Post, has made a decision for this roster to basically remove Jericho Sims from the rotation and only have it as Precious Achiuwa being the only backup big to Karl Anthony Towns, we're now preparing and waiting for Mitchell Robinson to return. And as I mentioned in the video that I dropped earlier today, Robinson is making steady progress. According to Tom Thibodeau, he's gone to more stuff on the court, but nothing with the team yet. He's making good, steady progress, and we're going to be patient with him. Robinson hasn't started running or sprinting yet, but has progressed to doing light shooting on the court. No matter how you slice it here, it seems like Mitchell Robinson is at least still a few weeks away from returning for the Knicks. But it is good that the Knicks have Precious Achiuwa inside, and it's somebody that they trust because clearly off the bench, he is having an impact, and not only on the offensive side of the ball. Defensively, he is making the Knicks better. He can move without the ball, he can cut, but the way he can get rebounds, put pressure on the defense, block shots, play very good interior defense. He was blocking shots at times inside against Jalen Duran, and that matters because Duran is having a monster season right now for Detroit. He's having a very good year for them. So Achiuwa just coming back and giving the Knicks that many minutes and having an impact like that, it shows you what he means to this team. And it shows you why in maybe 10, 15 games, as he gains more chemistry with this team, why we're going to be more dangerous on defense. All he needs to understand is those rotations, those switches, understanding who he's playing with and how he needs to move. Right now, he's starting to get it. He's starting to understand it. But when he plays with certain lineups, he's even more dangerous. Him at the 5, with Deuce at the 1. Then you got Hart at the 2, Mikal at the 3, and OG at the 4. If you have that lineup out there, they can switch on everything. They can shoot you out. They can defend very well. You want to penetrate inside the paint? Not going to happen with that lineup. You want to try to shoot threes? Not going to happen with that lineup because they can switch instantly, effortlessly, and it happens so instantaneously that nobody really knows about it until it's happening right before their eyes, and they really can't stop it because no matter what they do, they always have a hand in their face. There's no escaping that. I hope and pray that Tom Thibodeau utilizes that rotation a little bit more because it definitely helps us more defensively. But as of right now, I think we've seen our final moments of Jericho Sims as part of this rotation. He has firmly now become situational. Please, guys, let me know how you feel about that in the comment section below, guys. Let me know how you feel about Tom Thibodeau pretty much benching Jericho Sims and removing him from the rotation. Because honestly, I would love to hear your comments about this situation. But that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, go ahead and smash that like button, leave a comment below. And of course, guys, please subscribe to the channel. Until next time, Knicks fans, take care of yourself, your families, and each other. Peace and love.